nationhood, a word that talks about being together and a sense of collective identity. A collective identity, yet painted in shades and colors of each individual and each distinct community. What do Cameroonians think of living together yet being so different from one another? My cameraman Jeremy and myself, we decided to embark on a journey to meet some of these Cameroonians from varied backgrounds, to hear from them what they think of our differences and the things that unite us under one nation. And I can already tell you it's a discovery trip. We're starting not very far away from where I am, in a historical city called Buea. We're going to meet a one-time mayor who is much more than a son of Likoko Membia. Senator Mbelamuki Charles, the two-term mayor of Buea with 11 years in that capacity, is the vice chairperson of the Committee on Constitutional Laws of the Senate.
Cameroonians have always distinguished themselves in whatever setting they find themselves. Their characteristics are quite unique. These are people who are very used to cross-cultural relationships. They are people whose expressions are quite different and unique from those of any entity around the world. And I think ours is a blessed country. Like Pope John Paul II said when he last visited Cameroon before his demise, he had said Cameroon is a blessed country. Its youth are a vibrant source of inspiration and hope for the country, and that the Cameroonian is a basic example and a reference to cross-cultural relationships around the world. The examples are legion, and I would want to say that I've learned from many, and I'm indebted to many of them. Mentioning a few, certainly may rupture the relationship and the interaction I always enjoy from the many whom I admire and whom I believe have contributed enormously to making me what I am today.
Let's go a handshake away into a world of colors. Welcome to the world of Max Lyonga. He is no ordinary painter. At the age of 17, Max was introduced to professional painting at an arts competition which he won. But that seems so far away, looking at how much he has achieved over time. Today, Max hosts at least 1,500 guests each year. Even though he is a world-class painter, he spends a lot of his free time with children and youths, honing talents in colors, here in Cameroon and abroad. His talent takes him to Paris, Brussels, the United States, and his major exhibitions are in countries like Cameroon, France, Germany, USA, Lebanon, Belgium, Spain, China, and South Africa, just to name these. Little wonder that he sees the world only in colors.
I would like to define Cameroon like a country of many colors. For example, if you take the blue color and the yellow, you mix them, you have the secondary colors, which are the greens or the various greens, and that is how I see Cameroon. If you take the red and the yellow, you mix it, you have all the secondary colors of orange. That is how I see Cameroon. So on these different aspects of Cameroon, education, sports, cultural, agriculture, in all domains, Cameroonians are number one. I'm saying because, I'm not just saying because I want to say it, because I'm an artist. I discuss with them. As I travel with them, I see a lot of them. If you see the guy who owns Africa Venkat, he's a Cameroonian. He's creative. And that is how Cameroonians are in all domains. In football, you have Eto'o, you have Mila, you have the Richard Wanga, you have the Emmanuel Dibangos, you have the Max Lyongas in painting. And that is how the image of Cameroon is. The image of Cameroon is that Cameroonian is that image that is likes to share his ideas. A Cameroonian is not that type of person that likes to impose. It's somebody who wants dialogue, somebody who wants that he should be seen as somebody who wants to build the image of the world. And that is how Cameroonians are. And that is how we are so intelligent. That is why you find Cameroonians everywhere in all institutions in the world. They are there. And those are the colors that I was talking about. That because when you love something, it appears from colors. A nation is the colors that it presents. These colors are the various activities that our country impact on political, diplomatic, in all its aspects.
John Frundi, affectionately called Ni, with respect to his stature and achievements, he was born on a certain day in July in 1941 in Baba Atu in the Northwest region. He is the politician who founded the Social Democratic Front, the main opposition party in Cameroon, in 1990, and he has led the party since then. Among other things, he has an incredible capacity to tell Cameroonians just from their features.
I want to start from my local native background. That if I meet a Bamenda man, I will see him in his black cap, I will see him with his country bag. Inside his country bag is his cup, inside the bag is his collar knot, which he want to share with his friend drinking his palm wine in the market. So with this idea of going to the market with your cup, your collar knot, you sit, you buy your drink, you share. The Cameroonian person has that spirit to share, especially Bamenda, where I come from. And I remember that when I went to Lagos and started working in the quarters as a help in the white man's kitchen, I'll make tea and invite my friends to come and share with me. Every morning, please, can you come for a cup of tea? But once I saw them taking that as an advantage to mock me, to think that we should go and drink him dry. Yeah, but that the Cameroonian has that spirit to share. Moving out, if you see a Cameroonian, we have a certain physiognomy where if I see you, a Cameroonian girl, side by side with a Yoruba girl, side by side with an Anibo girl, side by side with a Kanuri girl, I'll be able to tell somebody that that's a Cameroonian. Then the dressing patterns also differ. Today, we have most Cameroonians dressed in the Bamenda attire. But when they dress, you can still know that this man truly is from Bamenda, this man is from Boya, is a Bakwarian, and you can see the features of a man from Mamfe.
So our identity is about what we eat, how we dress, and how we look physically. But I'm guessing it's a little bit more than that. Let's go seek the opinion of somebody who is from the same region as John Frundi, but who is not at all from the same political leaning.
Some say Enwe Francis Abi, the Member of Parliament for the Widikum constituency, could be graded among the youngest in the House of Representatives. He wore the insignia in 2007 at the age of 36. Before that, he had earned a diploma in business administration from the Business Management Training College of Southern Africa in Johannesburg, and then moved to Cape Town, where he created a company known as New Era Coaching Africa. While abroad, he was actively involved in Cameroon politics, starting off as the president of the Cameroonian Association of Western Cape. In 2007, a smooth victory in parliamentary elections took him into the National Assembly. He is said to fear none when he has something to say.
I will start by saying some of those negative aspects of Cameroonians. And I will start firstly with their arrogance. When situations come up, Everybody wants his own point of view to be bought by the other. Even if you cannot convince the person, you would like to force the person to believe in your ideology. That is one of the negative aspects of Cameroonians. Cameroonians are a very intelligent set of people. Cameroonians are very educated. They are not illiterates. You can see from statistics across the world that Cameroon is rated one of the countries with a high percentage of literacy level. Cameroonians are free-thinking people. They are very welcoming people and loving people. We've noticed that wherever Cameroonians go, politically, administrative-wise, or even those that go to the diaspora, they feel loved by those in those countries because of the way they express love to people. Cameroonians are hardworking. We notice that many civil servants nowadays, despite their work in their offices, they still have farms. Some still do small businesses. They keep themselves busy all the time. Those are Cameroonians. Those are some of the characteristics of Cameroonians. And Cameroonians are people that know their rights. They are people that you cannot easily convince them when they believe in something. I think Cameroonians are people that can easily go through hardship, considering the economic crisis that faced the country a couple of years back, and salaries were cut down. You know, Cameroonians could still cope with that. That was to show how far they can persevere, how far they can go to make sure things become normal in their lives.
Stability is often considered to be cursed, but Hilda, by all standards, is a blessing to those who know her. Hilda B developed muscular dystrophy at the age of 4, losing the ability to use her hands and legs. But the support of her parents and siblings made all the difference. She has gone on to earn a Bachelor of Science in Journalism and Mass Communication from the University of Buea and now works as a radio journalist. She's also an advocate seeking to help those with disabilities and mentoring young women through a project called the Esther Project. We meet her on a Sunday morning. On a Sunday morning, she's having a last touch at her hobby before going off to church with her family.
Cameroonians are very hardworking, very talented, and you look around the world and no one needs to tell you how you find Cameroonians in every walk of life around the surface of the earth, whether it's in the sciences, in athletics, in sports, in the arts. So you would find Cameroonians in all of those fields excelling in their talents. They don't read a lot, and I hope that is changing. But if we're looking at the positive picture, Cameroon is a very blessed country in spite of our challenges and difficulties. And I think that if we tend to dwell on these blessings and nurture them and encourage everyone to see Cameroon as this blessed country, then we'll be trying to efface some of those wrong notions that people have about Cameroon.
Monique Kwachu is an avid reader, a writer, self-motivated youth worker and a budding academic. She's employed at the University of Buea, where she works full-time as a Students Affairs Officer and part-time lecturer of Women and Gender Studies. She is hard of hearing and has to read my lips to answer my questions. But that has done very little to slow down on Monique Kwachu's ambitions. She holds a double honors degree in Gender Studies and Sociology from the University of Buea, a master's degree in Education, Gender and International Development from London, and is looking forward to a PhD at Lancaster University in the United States. She says Cameroon is about different people.
Cameroonians are celebratory people. We live to enjoy life. And this is both a positive and a negative attribute. As soon as somebody has a little bit of money, they go to the nearest bar or they hold a feast or something like that. So we love to dress well, we love to eat well. We're celebratory people. I would also say we are resilient people. We survive a lot, we take a lot, and we adapt a lot. This is also a negative and positive attribute. Perhaps we adapt too much. So I'll say that's what we are. We are definitely and inevitably different. You have the tall ones, the short ones, the fat ones, the very intelligent ones, the less intelligent ones, those who have traveled, in fact, those who love food and those who don't. But with all our differences, there must be certain things, certain moments, certain persons that make us feel proud of belonging to an entity. I don't look like a handicapped person. I am not the average handicapped person, so oftentimes I shy away from representing handicapped people. I recognize my privilege. I recognize the fact that coming from the background I did, afforded the education I have been afforded, I can't really speak for the difficulties the average handicapped person gets. So when I'm in a taxi, for example, or if I'm in class and I am not copying notes, like when I was doing my undergraduate studies and I was not copying notes, I can't count the number of lecturers who said, why aren't you paying attention? Why aren't you copying notes? And I have to explain to them that I can't copy notes because immediately I look down, I won't hear you, I'm reading your lips. I remember going for an interview at the American Embassy once where I had to go for a hearing operation, and I was told I don't have a problem because I could hear what the interviewer could say. She didn't realize I was reading her lips at that close contact. So it's not really, I don't really get shunned as a disabled person. Rather, I get called names for thinking I am disabled. I'm proudest as a Cameroonian. And those times where I see us overcoming obstacles, where I see us achieving and putting Cameroon on the map, despite the odds. And I'm also proudest at the times where I see us celebrating each other despite our divisions, going beyond our differences to celebrate each other, to celebrate ourselves as a nation. I remember a number of conferences I've attended as a writer, or when I was doing my master's studies on a Chevening scholarship, I was asked, where am I from? And I say Cameroon. And the most people could remember is Etofis. So I have had to look for other things. What makes Cameroon notable? What do we stand out for? So when I see, let's say, in Boleboa's book, recent book, Behold the Dreamers, I'm proud because that's putting us on the map for something other than football. When I see the tech startups making Silicon Mountain something to be proud of, I'm proud of that. I'm proud also when I see people, Cameroonians, returning home to invest in the country, asking what they can do for their nation, even if we haven't been given so much, but believing that we owe it to the country to do something. So when I see initiatives like IA coming up, or Harambe Cameroon's campaign for Am I Doing Something, Olivia Mukam, and lots more. When I see Bamenda Fashion Week, things like that, people are investing themselves in their country. After living out for so long, they are saying that they have to do the same thing for themselves. Nobody's going to do it for us. So I'm happy when I see that. I'm proudest when I see that. For myself, I think one of my proudest achievements to date was hosting the inaugural Campus Career Day last year. It was the first time we were having an actual career day on a university campus, or mostly any campus this side of Cameroon that I know of. And it brought together over 20 companies, brought them to the school campus to show students the variety of options they have, to give them advice towards employability on the job market, to inspire them. I
should assure you that and remind you that I'm a football administrator and a contributor to the heights that Cameroon football has attained of recent. And some of those glorious moments, as I said before, have happened with our football outfit, the Indomitable Lions. You remember their exploits in 1990, and with the presence of the head of state in Italy, that picture keeps coming into mind, and I keep revisiting that moment as one of the most glorious moments in my life as a Cameroonian, where Cameroon performed beyond expectations and brought joy, happiness and satisfaction to the entire world, and particularly as an African representative. That was a great moment. But many would follow, where Cameroon has been able to conquer the rest of African teams in winning the African Nations Football Trophy. Great moments. And when that cup gets to Cameroon and it is presented to the public in various towns and cities around the country, that euphoria, the outpouring of joy, the uniting factor that comes with this exposure of the national team and our football players, I tell you, it is a moment to give glory to God. It is a moment to thank God for being part of this entity called Cameroon. It is a moment for me to raise my eyes to the skies and say, Lord, I thank you that I am a Cameroonian. Appreciating particular situation comes with what attachment you have to what is happening. And let me say that our diversity, whenever it finds a flourishing, an opportunity to flourish and glow and bring pride to Cameroonians, usually affords us the opportunity to absorb memories of great moments. And I think that I cannot be left out. I will always be proud. I will always be happy. I will always love to attach myself to this entity called Cameroon. I should say that one of the person who inspires me most and who makes me happy with the way he operates and the way he directs his life story is the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya. That is why I always remain very loyal and dedicated to him. I admire him, I respect him, and of course, I love him.
One of the things that made me proud was in 1990, when I filed the documents for the party. My first fear was that maybe I was going to find myself alone. But when the people came out in their numbers, I was overwhelmed. I wept to see that all these people came to tell you, yes, we agree with what you are saying. It's 26 years now. It's withstood the test of time, where people still think that what you came out to say was true. And this was not only from the north southwest. I remember the first time I visited Ukadoma. We got there early in the morning. The pygmies had come out and they were dancing, you know, different dance groups shaking their waists and all that, like smallish people. And one of my aides saw this young pygmy, whom I thought was still a young man, not married. Meanwhile, he had 3 wives. Asked him what he's come out here for. He told him that they've told them that the person who will remove them out of this bush, out of this trouble, a Bamenda man has come. So we've come to see him. So he asked this young man whether you know the man. He said no. He turned and pointed at me and said, that's him. This man looked at me and I saw the biggest drop of tear I ever saw in my life run down this man's cheek. I turned my face and I found myself weeping. Because this is a person you will not say that is from your own area. This is a person you will not say is from your own cultural, ethnical, otherwise group. But they are agreeing with what you started. So I have to feel proud and thank God that you started something that cut across the board. When I go to the farm and I sit down, you see a young calf comes up, sniffs me, and starts licking me. I hold it I caress it, I play with it. You see, it feels comfortable. I press it, lie down, it lies down. The cat lies down at my feet. I feel that joy, that love. Oh, as I sit like this, comes and sends it neck across, and I hold it, and we're playing. Those moments take you out of the world. I've watched the ship deliver. As it's delivering, you see the other ship come and encircle it. You see the mother ship is there stretching itself, lying down, standing up. As soon as the young lamb falls down, the rest, they run and leave fire alone. You now take care of your other things. I see love, that type of love and understanding, warmth, company amongst animals, which is very absent amongst human beings.
I would like to talk about somebody like Richard Wagner. You know, that is somebody that I admire a lot. Because not just because he's an artist, he has that spirit of humility. That spirit that Cameroonians have, that spirit of humility. You saw when we won the African Nation Cup, nobody believed that we will win it. But we had that spirit of humility, because if you have the spirit of humility, you can move mountains. And Risha is that person that his voice is all over the world. He teaches his voice in the University of New York. He teaches his voice. That is something that many Cameroonians have done. And that is why I said Cameroonians are great people. In the bass guitar, they did not go to any formal school, but they had a talent in them. That is what Cameroonians have. And that is what Risha has, that he's giving to the world. And that is why I admire him a lot. But that did not come through his own work, but it's through somebody who molded him, Emmanuel Dibango, which is like the whole nation and the population that is praying for him. And that is why he is what he is. And every Eto is the same. Because when you invest on people, when your music touches people, you have the showers of blessing.
When you see the Cameroonian indomitable lions in the pitch, or the lionesses, every Cameroonian behaves as one family. They love their team. Nobody is left behind in supporting them. Those are some of the aspects that you feel that, oh, these people are one people. Despite our cultural differences, no, we are actually united in diversity in this type of an aspect. When you see people, when they're singing the national anthem, the Cameroon national anthem, it touches the heart of many people. And I think it's something, when I was out of the country, one time we were celebrating the same occasions of the 20th May and many other occasions that have been celebrated in Cameroon. When Cameroonians are singing the national anthem out there, you see passion, you see love, you see them with all the attention. Most of them even hands raised on their hearts, on their chest, to show how much they love our country. You see most of them driving their cars. You will see in all their cars the Cameroonian flag. You go to all their homes, you see a Cameroonian flag. That is an aspect to show that, in fact, they are all one people, they love the country. With the current Anglophone crisis that are plaguing the country, I have met with people from different stratas of the society. I have been even to prison. I have seen the prisoners. I have met the locals, and in fact, I will not tell a lie. Everybody is united towards one point, that this problem should be solved. That way you can see that these are real Cameroonians. They want a solution, whatever the solution may be, but everybody wants a solution. Despite the many requests that are coming out from the people, but everybody wants a solution that we live as a peaceful people. Those are things that make me feel that, in fact, some of the aspects or characteristics that make you feel Cameroonian.
You know, the football moments, but there are moments also when you've seen a Cameroonian particularly making Cameroon proud out of this nation, say someone who wins a contest or I was following The Voice Africa, and I saw how Cameroonians were doing very well on The Voice Africa. But there have just been those moments when you see, especially out of Cameroon, you find someone who is maybe a good painter or a good musician, and then they tell you that they're from Cameroon, and that makes you extra proud to be Cameroonian. Which loses its identity when it meets a bigger body. Our identity gets reinforced each time we meet and we mingle with different persons. So how do you live together when you are from different identities? I think one thing we need to learn in Cameroon is to accept diversity and accept differences. And I speak from the vantage point of someone who has grown up in this country and lived as a person with a disability even now. And I know how stifling and challenging it is to live as someone who is different. Someone who doesn't walk like you, who doesn't talk like you, who doesn't look like you. And at times we take that as a threat, but it shouldn't be a threat. I think countries which have really succeeded are countries which have embraced their differences and learned to celebrate their diversity in such a way that everyone is empowered to contribute to the betterment of the society. So my advice would be for families, for communities, for the government to see the value in each individual, to know that each person is created for a purpose, and to give a conducive environment where everybody can live to their fullest potential, and then we'll be able to truly celebrate and know that we have a great country.
If you do something that you just want to make yourself satisfied, you will not change nothing. The way you do something that can impact on people, that can give people happiness or a moment of laughter or a moment of joy like what he is doing all over the world, I think is somebody that have touched me, particularly because you go to Brazil, they play his music, you go to Portugal, if they say he's a Cameroonian that is singing, you will not believe. And that's why I took that example. The problems that we have inspired me a lot. Like I started with colors. I can say the problems that we have is just two colors. These two colors, you can mix them to be one. The blue and yellow give orange. The red and yellow gives orange and purple and other colors that you want. But to me, these problems to me is number 6. Number 6 is, if you turn it, is number 9. And if you turn this to number 9, you must be creative. You must be creative so that this problem should not just be a problem that should destroy your mindset, but it should be a problem that can construct you in another way. And this have helped me through my work in a positive way to tell my own brothers, my people, that the problem that we have is just a simple color. And this simple color is an antenna because we breathe one air. So the air that I breathe is the same air that my Francophone brother is breathing, my Anglophone brother is breathing. So if we think that we are breathing the one air, we are one, and we can paint things that can help the next generation to construct his future in a positive way.
We don't marry now with boundaries to say you must marry somebody only from your tribe. We see many Francophone women marrying Anglophones. We see Muslims even joining the Christian society, getting married. A lot of things. You know, unity in diversity. That has come and has made Cameroon a peculiar state with this type of unique cultural and history that over the years people have learned to live together, though sometimes there are hitches. Sometimes there are a lot of problems that come up where people maybe express anger, express worries, but at the back of their mind, they are still one people. They still love being one people. They love the country. And another aspect, we know in Cameroon that we have tall and short people, people that are intelligent, people that are equally dull, those that are slow, and those that are in fact very fast. There are some with gray hair like me here, and those with the dark hair. All of these people still live together as one, interact together in all activities, socialize, and in fact, while respecting their various cultures, respecting their various backgrounds, they still feel that as one people, love should continue.
I've lived in several houses. I've grown up with aunts and uncles throughout my life because my mother is out of the country. So I would say the first and foremost, what people need to put aside to successfully live together is the stereotypes that have been passed on to them. If we can put down those, if we can shun those stereotypes of what a man is and what a woman is, what this tribe is, and what this linguistic group is, if we can suppress those lessons that have been told to us, then we'll be more open-minded, I think, to listen to other people, to understand where they're coming from, to ask genuine questions without prejudice and without bias. And when we do that, I think we'll find that we are more similar than we think. It would help you empathize more with other people. At the root of it all, we're all the same. At the root of it, we all want the same things. We all want good life. We all want family. We all want love. We all want a good job. We're not that different.
You start from husband and wife, where you marry a woman, she's from a different background, you are from a different background, you can meet. When you meet, you are moving on, you are adjusting. You are adjusting. Maybe the person snores, maybe you snore, maybe there are some of the people that bed wet, and you start adjusting that way. I believe that we cannot all live in a common state where the shoes are the same, the trousers are the same, we have to go left, right, we have to go the same way. People must have their differences, and there are these differences in life that make us to enjoy life. Because, I mean, you cannot eat achu all through, you cannot eat ndole and fish all through, you need some differences. So when we have all these differences, they make us enjoy life. And I do believe that if we live in a society where there are no, for instance, strangers, that society will not grow. You need people from other places. And that's why our own children go out to read and come back. They do not only go to France, they don't only go to Britain, Germany, America, they go all over the world. And the experiences and the knowledge they bring from these areas we put together to see what we can do to move forward. So we need a bit of everything, and it depends on how we do it. But what I find myself at a loss in this country is that some people think that there are more Cameroonians than the others. Some people think that they know more about what is going on than others. But I believe that we have to sit down. What did you say? This is what I said. What are you saying? This is what I'm saying. Let us marry this together, conjugate this, and then see a better way of moving forward.
There are so many things that are good in the average Cameroonian, and this is what we need. This is what we need to harness and come out with what is unique about Cameroon, and that is a blessing we have in this nation. As I said before, Booker T. Washington had said, we may be divided as the fingers of the hand on many issues, but we have a duty and responsibility to remain united as a hand in itself on issues of mutual concern. And this diversity in us is what is highlighted in what Cameroon as a nation and Cameroon with its leader have always highlighted. Today we are talking about the committee, the commission on bilingualism and multiculturalism. It is inspired by the diversity, by the cross-culturalization in our national life. And I think the head of state sorted out this very well, and it is going to be what is going to be the chief cornerstone of our living together, the chief cornerstone of consolidating the concept of national unity, the chief cornerstone of the idea of national integration. And it is the duty and responsibility of every Cameroonian to make a contribution in this domain. We should also know that the culture of good practices is one of the aspects that can keep us together as a people. When the national cake that has been baked by every Cameroonian is shared equitably or rationally to every Cameroonian. This is what Cameroonians expect. Cameroonians want to see equity. Cameroonians want to see a rational and equitable distribution of the resources of the country so that everybody can feel and have the sense of belonging and remain constantly and permanently proud of being a Cameroonian.
Building a nation is like putting together a bouquet of flowers. It needs 1, 2, 3, and maybe many more flowers of different shapes, sizes, colors to make a beautiful bouquet. I'm sure by the time I put together all the flowers that I need for this, you will have an awesome bouquet. That's how you build an awesome nation.